The 2024 F1 season is just around the corner now, and pre-season testing is getting closer and closer. We've seen half of the brand new cars being launched, and those launched cars is helping to build excitement. And in today's preview video, we are going to be discussing how each team needs to improve this year. If you enjoy the video, then please hit the like button and subscribe for more F1 content. Now, let's get into the video. For this video, we are going to be starting with the team that finished in last in the Constructors' Championship last year, and we're going to be ending the video with going up with the championship winners, which was of course Red Bull. So, let's start with Haas. Haas, race pace and tyre management. Haas are at an interesting phase of their life as a team. Arguably, Haas are at a phase that will either make or break them now. Gene Haas is wanting the team to finish the 2024 season in 8th place at a minimum. But in order to do that, the Haas team is going to need to improve massively in their race pace, and more critically, their tyre management. Over one lap in 2023, the Haas car was flying more often than not with Nico Hülkenberg. In fact, it was so good over one lap that in Montreal, Nico Hülkenberg managed to qualify the Haas in second place. Unfortunately though for Hülkenberg, even though he started that race in second, he finished the race in 15th place and was lapped. The Haas car really struggled when it came to tyre wear, and we very often got to see that their race pace would be awful and they would sink like a stone after only a few laps. If Gene really wants the Haas team to finish in 8th place in the Constructors, then they will need to convert a good qualifying position into a good points finish. If they want to do that, then they will need to make sure that the tyres can last longer than a few laps. There is currently not a lot of confidence for Haas going into this season, even with their new team principal, Ayuka Komatsu, already stating that they are likely to be last in Bahrain. This doesn't give me much confidence for them, especially as Haas usually starts off strong and falls back as the season progresses. Starting last already might mean that the season could be a write-off and they're gonna be in last place once again. Sauber, stake, kick, whatever you want to call it, it's aerodynamic performance that they need to improve. For the Sauber team, one of their biggest issues last season was their aerodynamics, or lack thereof, of, well, any real performance. The team was hampered with poor aerodynamics and a floor that was just not working how they would have expected it to. To go alongside the poor aerodynamics, the team also struggled with straight line performance and was really the only Ferrari power car to struggle in this area. This was because not only did their car lack downforce, but it was also very draggy. To try and help the team going forward, they have hired James Key from Mclaren, and it will be interesting to see if any of his input can help push them forward. Key has said that he already has a few ideas, so it will be exciting to see if these inputs can be put into place, and we can then maybe see Sauber move up the grid after a troubled 2023. VCARB, aerodynamic philosophy. For a large portion of the 2023 season, the VCARB team looked completely lost, while their bigger brother team Red Bull was absolutely dominating, winning race in and race out. Yuki Tsunoda did his best to carry the team while Nick de Vries was clearly struggling, but the car itself was a bit of a dog, and this did not really make any sense as they could have been a lot closer aligned to Red Bull as per the regulations, similar to how Haas borrow quite a lot from Ferrari. After the Singapore Grand Prix, VCARB had brought some upgrades which started to bring themselves closer to Red Bull. In 2024, if they continue to develop their car into a Red Bull Junior car, then we could see them move their way up the championship order. It is an important year as Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda are both vying to try and get Sergio Perez a seat in the second Red Bull car. Williams, improvement from their second driver. For Williams, the 2023 campaign was essentially a one-man show as Alex Albon did all of the heavy lifting in order to get his team to finish in 7th place in the Constructors' Championship. The team have a decent car which is an absolute rocket ship in a straight line. They need to build on this, and with a full year of experience now, Logan Sargeant really doesn't have any excuses not to perform. He understands the car and the team, and now it is just about bringing it all together and starting to close the gap to teammate Alex Albon. I fear that if he doesn't really do that, then Williams could fall as low as 9th in the Constructors' Championship in 2024. Alpine, reliability woes from the Renault power unit. Ever since the beginning of the turbo hybrid era, Renault has seemed like the manufacturer that has just struggled the most when it comes to the reliability aspect. Honda also had massive issues, but over the years they have fixed their issues, and Honda's reliability issues are very few and far between these days. For Renault power though, it is still an issue that they need to solve, especially as they are in general a little bit down on power. The regulations do say that manufacturers can make reliability related improvements to their power units, and Renault could probably do that, and they may even find some performance gains, which undoubtedly will help Alpine as they try to fight and maintain 6th in the Constructors' Championship and maybe even fight for the top 5. I just want to say that if you are enjoying the video, then I would appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe for more F1 content. I'm on my way to 5k subs, and I would really appreciate it if you help me get there. Now though, let's get back to the video. Aston Martin, in-season developments. For Aston Martin at the beginning of last year, it looked like they were the team that were going to challenge Red Bull. They were incredibly fast out of the gates, even if they lacked some straight line speed, as this graph shows when comparing the top speeds in qualifying between the two of Red Bull and Aston Martin. But as the season continued, Aston Martin started to fall back in terms of pace, as Ferrari, McLaren and Mercedes all overhauled the Aston Martin team. When Aston Martin did bring upgrades, it did not really help them, as they were struggling with balance issues, and also the team was running with one arm tied behind their back, as there was only so much Fernando Alonso could do on his own. This year they will need to once again start strong, and also have Lance Stroll actually perform somewhere close to Fernando Alonso, otherwise they may struggle for a top 5 finish this year. McLaren, performance in slower speed corners. For McLaren, when they introduced their upgrades in Austria, their season was revolutionised. They very quickly went from the back of the field to the front of the field, and we saw them at their strongest in Silverstone, Suzuka and Interlagos. However, when it came to circuits which featured slower speed corners, they did struggle a little bit more, and we saw that at circuits like Las Vegas at the end of the season. The team are in a fantastic position and could very well be the team that fights Red Bull in 2024, and we could see Lando Norris or Oscar Piastri win their first ever Grand Prix, but they need to improve in the slow speed corners. If they can improve in this area, as well as improving some straight line performance, then they really could be the team that fights the almighty Red Bull team. Ferrari, consistency. For Ferrari, their 2023 campaign was a season that was filled with ups and downs. One race they would be fighting Red Bull, and in the next race they would be struggling to finish anywhere near the top 5. Both Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz also had their fair share of incidents, as the Ferrari car lacked consistency. Some races they would be very hard on tyres, and this is something they're going to need to iron out. After the Japanese Grand Prix, it seems like they did manage to iron out a lot of issues, and Charles Leclerc did find a lot of pace, and the Ferrari was a very fast car in a straight line. Let's not forget, at the back end of 2023, Charles Leclerc was the only one who could really fight Max Verstappen in both Las Vegas, and he was somewhat close to him in Abu Dhabi. I say somewhat, 2023 was all about Max Verstappen. It will be interesting to see if they can perform more consistently in 2024, and if that performance will be consistently good. The team is certainly moving forward, and they have hired a lot of people to help ensure that they can be the team to fight Red Bull. They've hired people from Mercedes, and they have also hired some people from Red Bull itself. Mercedes, straight line performance and qualifying performance. Mercedes may have finished in second place in 2023 Constructors' Championship, however there is no doubting that they are the team that have the most work to do out of all of the top 4 teams. They are officially losing their star driver Lewis Hamilton at the end of 2024, as he is joining Ferrari for 2025, and the end of 2023 was not a strong one. Fairly consistently they were beaten by Ferrari and McLaren, and they were lacking a lot of straight line performance, which always makes things tricky, especially because the Mercedes was struggling with one lap performance as well, so they were very often out of position. These are two areas that they must improve on in 2024. They had fantastic tyre wear and fantastic race pace. The great tyre wear could explain why their qualifying performance was a bit of a struggle, but with the field getting closer and closer, Mercedes need to improve their one-lap pace, otherwise they could find themselves with a driver out in Q2 more often than not this season, when the car has potential for a top 5 finish. They are bringing a completely new design this year, and it will be interesting to see if this new design will help fix any issues they have with straight line performance, and also maybe help them fire up the tyres for a one-lap push. Red Bull. Improve the floor over bumps. There is very little to pick about Red Bull, as they absolutely decimated the competition last year. But the team didn't win all of the races. They did win all but one, and at times it may have looked incredibly easy for Max Verstappen, but there was a slight weakness. And that was when it came to street circuits and bumpy circuits. They were under threat at Texas, and they lost the Singapore Grand Prix. This is really the only weakness for them right now, but it has to be said, if they don't improve in this area, it will not really be a big issue, just because the team and car is so fantastic. They have the best driver on the grid in Max Verstappen, they have the best designer in Adrian Newey, and the team itself is a well-oiled machine. They just need to refine what they have, and like I said, with Adrian Newey in charge, I have full confidence that they will do just that. So with that in mind then, what team do you think will make the biggest improvements in 2024? What team will surprise everyone, and what teams will struggle the most in 2024? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and as always, comment, leave a like, and subscribe for more F1 content. Thank you all so much for watching.